Imagine a country where you can walk down any street, in any city, at any hour, and feel completely safe. Imagine a place where the pace of life is dictated by the sun and the sharing of tea, not by the frantic buzz of a smartphone. Now imagine that this same place has a quiet, confident energy, a vibe that isn't loud or flashy, but is deeply, undeniably attractive. This isn't a fantasy. This is Uruguay. Welcome to a journey into one of South America's best-kept secrets. Forget everything you think you know about the continent. There are no ancient Incan ruins scraping the sky here, no sprawling Amazonian jungles. What Uruguay offers is something different, something rarer, a profound sense of peace, and a quality of life that feels both simple and incredibly sophisticated. This is a documentary about finding that feeling. This is about life in Uruguay. Our story begins in the capital, Montevideo. This isn't a city that shouts for your attention. It whispers. It invites you to slow down and listen. The heartbeat of Montevideo is the Rambla. This isn't just a sidewalk by the water. It's a 22-kilometer-long wooden boardwalk that stretches along the Rio de la Plata, a river so wide it feels like the sea. At sunrise, you'll see fishermen casting their lines. In the afternoon, families gather for picnics on the rocky shores, grilling meat over open fires. As the sun sets, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, the Rambla comes alive with joggers, cyclists, and couples walking hand in hand, all sharing the same space, the same air, the same moment. This is where you understand the Uruguayan rhythm. It's a city that lives outdoors, connected to the water. But to truly understand Uruguay, you have to understand its greatest passion, food. And that means talking about the asado. An asado is more than a barbecue. It's a sacred social ritual. It's a slow process that can last for hours, sometimes an entire day. Friends and family gather around the parrilla, the giant grill, as cuts of meat you've never heard of sizzle over wood embers. The air fills with the irresistible smell of burning wood and cooking beef. This is where conversations happen. This is where bonds are strengthened. There's no rushing an asado. You sit, you talk, you drink a glass of Tanat, Uruguay's powerful signature red wine, and you wait. The reward is the most tender, flavorful meat you will ever taste. It's a lesson in patience and a celebration of community. And then there's mate. If asado feeds the body, mate feeds the soul. You will see it everywhere. People walking down the street with a thermos of hot water tucked under their arm and a small, gourd-like cup called a mate in their hand. This is the national drink. It's a bitter tea made from dried yerba leaves. But the drink itself is only half the story. The ritual is what matters. One person is the server, the cebador. They prepare the mate, fill it with water, and pass it to the first person. That person drinks the entire cup and hands it back. The server refills it and passes it to the next person. It moves in a circle. Sharing mate is an act of friendship, of connection. It says, I have time for you. We are together. In a world that's always connected digitally, Uruguayans remain connected in the most analog way possible. This sense of connection extends to the country's attitude toward life. Uruguay is famously progressive. It was one of the first countries in the world to legalize same-sex marriage, abortion, and the production and sale of cannabis. This isn't just about laws, it's about a mindset. There's a live and let live philosophy that permeates society. People are free to be who they are without fear of judgment. This creates an atmosphere of incredible tolerance and ease. This is a huge part of why Uruguay feels so safe. When a society prioritizes individual freedom and social welfare, the result is stability and a deep-seated respect for one another. Look, let's talk about that word, sexy. What makes a country sexy? It's not about one thing, it's a feeling. It's an allure. And Uruguay has it in spades. It's in the sultry rhythm of candombe drums echoing through the cobblestone streets of Montevideo's Barrio Sur. A powerful beat born from the city's African heritage. It's in the smooth, sophisticated steps of a tango danced in a dimly lit milonga. Uruguay shares this passionate dance with its neighbor Argentina, and here it's felt just as deeply. The sex appeal is in the landscape. Just a couple of hours east of Montevideo lies the coast, and it's unlike any other. This is Punta del Este, a glamorous playground for the international jet set. Here, you'll see modern architecture, luxury yachts, and famous beaches like Brava, with its iconic sculpture La Mano, 5 giant fingers emerging from the sand as if a giant is buried beneath. It's dramatic and beautiful. But keep driving. The real magic of Uruguay's coast is found in the quieter, more rustic villages. Places like José Ignacio, a tiny fishing village turned chic escape, where dirt roads lead to breathtaking cliffs and art galleries hide in simple houses. The beauty here is raw and unpretentious. Then there's the north, the region of gauchos. These are the cowboys of the South American plains. To meet a gaucho is to meet a symbol of Uruguayan independence and toughness. They live a life tied to the land, to their horses, and to cattle. Visiting an estancia, a traditional ranch, is like stepping back in time. You can ride horses across endless green fields, help with the rounding up of cattle, and then, of course, share an asado with the gauchos. They are men of few words, but their hospitality is immense. Their quiet strength and connection to tradition add another layer to the country's complex character. And we cannot forget Colonia del Sacramento. This small city on the banks of the Rio de la Plata is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a place of pure, timeless romance. The Barrio Histórico, the historic quarter, is a maze of cobblestone streets, lined with centuries-old houses in a mix of Portuguese and Spanish colonial styles. There are no cars allowed in this part of town. You walk, you get lost on purpose. You sit in a quiet plaza, under the shade of a giant fig tree, its branches twisted by time. You climb to the top of the old lighthouse and look out over the terracotta-tiled roofs towards the wide river. Time stands still in Colonia. It's impossibly charming. A perfect, preserved piece of history. So what is life in Uruguay really like? It's a country of contrasts. It's the modern, relaxed capital of Montevideo and the timeless, rugged countryside of the gauchos. It's the glamour of Punta del Este and the rustic charm of a fishing village. It's the passionate beat of candombe and the silent, shared ritual of mate. But all these contrasts are held together by a common thread, a deep respect for freedom, for community, and for the simple joys of life. The safety everyone talks about isn't just about low crime statistics. It's a feeling that comes from social stability, from knowing your neighbors, from a government that generally works for its people. The sexiness isn't about a flashy appearance. It's a quiet confidence. It's the allure of a country that is comfortable in its own skin, that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. It's in the slow, deliberate pace, the appreciation for good food, good wine, and good company. Uruguay's beauty is a slow burn. It doesn't grab you all at once. It seeps into you, one sunset on the Rambla, one sip of mate, one conversation at an asado at a time. And before you know it, you're not just visiting. You're understanding what it means to live well. You're understanding the soul of Uruguay. And that is an experience that stays with you long after you've left its shores.